Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Hello to everyone that has joined us on Zoom, and hello to everyone that's watching us on Facebook Live. We're super excited to be here today. We have some great content and some great speakers prepared. The official program has not started yet. We're gonna stop at the top of the hour as promised. We just like to, start things a little bit early and chat with you guys as you come online. So hello, welcome again. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us about how's your day going? Who are you? Where are you from? What kind of business do you run? This is an open discussion. We obviously have a presentation prepared, but we'd really love to hear from you about how your business is doing these days. Obviously, we're going to be open to questions throughout the entire presentation. We're going to take some time at the end of the session to answer all your questions. So just go ahead and post them. Again, if you're on Zoom, you go ahead and post them in the Q&A area. If you have anything else you'd like to say, feel free to use the chat. We're totally going to be watching it. We're also monitoring our Facebook. We know some of you may be watching us on Facebook Live. Hello, give us a virtual high five. So feel free to post a question in the comments to the post you're watching, and we will do our best to address all questions at the end of the presentation. If we run out of time, we might have to follow up with you one-on-one offline, but we'd still love to hear from you and see, kind of how things are going, how you guys are doing. These are some crazy times. So first of all, we hope everyone is well. We hope your businesses are up and running. So I'm gonna start. Hello, I see someone saying hello from Northern Virginia. Hello. The slides will be, I won't be sending the presentation, but I will be sending the recording. Sorry, that's our friend from Northern Virginia is asking if we'll be sending the presentation. So a recording of the session will be available. It will be sent to you tomorrow, together with some additional links that we're going to be talking about during the presentation. Oh, and someone else is, Sarah is commenting, giving me a compliment. I have these vinyl records behind me. Thank you very much. I'm happy you like them. These have been up on the wall for quite a while now. When we moved in to this apartment, my husband, which is like, I don't know, a little bit of a Pinterest freak or something, he saw this on Pinterest. He's like, oh, we should do it. And I was like under the impression, there's some things you see on Pinterest and you're like, I don't know if this is actually going to work in my home. So I wasn't really sure about it, but we went for it anyway. And I am so happy we did, because we have been working from home. All of us in vcita have been working from home for about 10 weeks now. And we've been doing a lot of webinars, a lot of online training. And this just gives me this really great, fun background for all our live sessions. So I'm actually loving it. And I'm very thankful for, Pinterest for giving me this cool vinyl record wall behind me. So I see more and more people are joining us. So just to confirm, we haven't started the official presentation yet. We're just taking a couple minutes to chat as you guys join. So tell me more, about you. How are you guys doing? Where are you from? What kind of business do you own? How are you doing these days? We're here, we're listening. As I said before, in case you missed it, there is a presentation and a demo we prepared, but we would love for this to also be an open conversation. So we are monitoring both the chat and the Q&A area on Zoom, as well as the comments to the post, just in case you're watching this on Facebook Live. So feel free to drop us a note, let us know how you're doing. We know, these are some difficult times, so we'd love to hear how your business is up, if your business is up and running, hopefully it is. And that's it. We're just going to take another minute and then start with the official presentation. So if you have any questions at all, as I said, feel free to post them. We are here, we're listening. And I'm also really curious to hear about how you guys are doing. So I'm actually going to launch a poll. My question for you is, how is your business doing these days? I'm going to launch it right now, so you should be able to see it on your screen. Are you open for business? Are you still maybe doing some of your services online because of the COVID-related restrictions? Or perhaps you weren't really able to reopen yet. So I see some of you guys are giving us an update on how you guys are doing. We're going to give it another couple of seconds, and I'm going to share the results with you so you guys can see kind of where our audience is, how many of you are able to open your business at this point. Perhaps some of you are still waiting for some hopefully easier days. And I see many of you are actually open for business. So that's great. That's really good to hear. I see some of you, unfortunately, were not able to reopen yet. So I really hope that today's presentation gives you all the tools you need to have everything in place. So once you can open, you can have a really seamless and easy transition. And if you are already open for business, some of the topics we're going to address today can really help you kind of minimize that friction and do as much as you can online. So again, hello again, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. I see just more and more people joining. We have some of you guys watching us on Zoom. We have some of you guys watching us on Facebook Live. We'll be monitoring the questions and comments on both. So whether you're watching us on Zoom or Facebook Live, feel free to drop us a note, ask a question. We are really excited about hearing from you. We are here to discuss one of the most, or maybe should I say, the most important element of running a small business, which is, of course, money. Maybe not the most, enjoying your workday is super important too. But we are here to discuss money and specifically online payments, which is a really hot topic right now. I mean, online payments has kind of been a thing for a while. And I feel like now with COVID and with just all the changes that, our market has gone through, online payments is a great tool for small businesses to use during times like this. So thanks again for joining us today. I'm just going to repeat again that the session will be recorded. So in case you have to check out early, we will be sending you the recording via email, either later today or perhaps tomorrow. So that's it. I think we're ready to get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Before I do that, I'm actually just going to state one more, bear with me guys, just one more thing I have to tell you before we start. We're going to do a lot of talking about vcita's integration with Square, which is an extremely popular and reliable payment gateway that is favored by many small business owners. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. So Square is available to businesses based in the US, in Canada, in Australia, UK, and Japan. So if some of you are based in other countries, you will not, unfortunately, you won't be able to use Square as your default payment gateway with vcita. However, there still is a lot of content on general online payments that is really relevant to you, even if you cannot use Square. So I highly recommend that you guys stick around. My name is Rachel Shapiro. I am a product marketing manager here at vcita. In my previous life, I was actually a small business owner myself. So I did marketing, consulting, and strategy for small businesses. And from there, I went on to work for tech companies. And now I work with vcita's marketing team, which I absolutely love, because I get to help small business owners use technology to grow their business and enjoy the process, actually enjoy every single workday. That's what we like to talk about at vcita. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you guys so you can follow the presentation with us. That'll just take a second. And here we go. All right, great. This is the time where I always ask you guys to just confirm that you can see my screen, because a short while ago, we did have another presentation where I was absolutely certain that everyone was watching a demo that I was doing while I was actually just, it was just my face showing. So just give me a thumbs up and let me know that you can see my screen and you can see the presentation, and then we will be good to go. Yes, thank you, thank you. Alrighty, so here with us today, as I mentioned, my name is Rachel. I'm super excited to be here. And we also have Sarah from Square. Sarah is a partner manager at Square. She helps onboard and scale partners with Square, and we have been working together for a really long time. And Sarah has a lot of knowledge on how Square and online payments in general can really help you grow your business. Sarah, can you hear us? How are you doing?
Hi, yes, I'm here and I can hear you. Thanks so much for having me today. Really excited to talk to you all about payments and about this awesome integration that we've worked together on.
Fantastic. So let's talk about what we'll be covering today. So we'll start with what is, what are online payments even about? Why are more and more businesses kind of shifting into this online mode where they're collecting and managing their payments online? Then we're going to do the when vcita met Square and talk about the vcita Square integration and how you can use your vcita account with the plan, with the Square integration to manage your payments online and basically manage your entire payment flow from A to Z online using vcita+Square. We're also going to hear, we have another guest online. We're going to introduce her soon. We're going to hear from a real business owner, just like you guys, who is using vcita+Square to manage her online payments. She's been doing this for a while, and she has some really great insights for you guys. So, I must not forget, at the end of the presentation, we actually have a really great bonus offer, a limited time offer for you guys that I'm sure you'll be super excited about. If you have to check out just in the middle of the presentation, do not worry, the session will be recorded. It is recorded, and it'll definitely be sent to you via email. So don't worry, you won't miss it out on anything. But yeah, stick with us. I mean, we're gonna have a good time. So without further ado, let's start talking about online payments. So the best thing about doing things online is, because when you're managing your payments offline, you're either using a spreadsheet or maybe a notebook. I know that I used to do so much of like my finances just on stray pieces of paper. Like at some point my office was just full of these random pieces of paper. Every time I would never throw anything out because I was so nervous about throwing out some list or some bank statement or something that I would eventually need. When you do things online, you have all the data and all the information and all the documentation you need saved in one place. You can also really track your bottom line really easily because you're not playing this guessing game where you're like, wait a second, how much money did I collect this month? And then how much of that did I actually spend? And what's coming in next month? How much money, do I have in overdue payments? You don't have to worry about any of those questions when you do things online because it's simply all there. You have an organized list, you have a dashboard that shows you exactly, how much money you can expect to see in your bank at the end of this month, how this month compared to last month, how this week compared to last week. You have all your data and all your analytics at one place. So you're already like in a good starting point where you have a clear vision of your bottom line. Managing payments online also helps you as a business owner kind of put yourself back in the driver's seat, I want to say, because a big problem with managing payments, and this is something that we hear all the time from the small businesses we work with, that at the end of the day, you don't want to be that person. You don't want to chase payments. You don't want to be that person that picks up the phone and calls someone and says, hello, you owe me money. What's happening with the payments? It's always a really unpleasant conversation to have. And that frankly, that's not why you started a business. You started a business because you're really good at what you do and you enjoy working with people. And, putting yourself in that uncomfortable situation where you have to chase your payments and, you have all these you work hard to earn your money and you have all these customers that really appreciate you. And, you should just be able to easily collect without having these awkward moments, awkward conversations. So when you do things online, you're kind of you're not waiting around for people to pay you. You're able to control, you're able to take initiative. If you have your client's credit card stored on your Vcita account, you can just, make it a day a week, like maybe every Thursday. Thursday is your billing day where you take the time to open up your open invoices and then use the credit cards that you have on file to collect the payments. You're not waiting around for people to pay you. You can take initiative and do it yourself. So that's a really major, change to make as a business. You're kind of taking initiative. You're able to regain control of your cash flow. You're able to keep your bottom line visible. So those are things that are always true. And now with the unfortunate, COVID situation, there's some other things we have to take into account. So first of all, there's the whole safety issue. Obviously, safety first. Whether you are only accepting customers, face-to-face at your location, or maybe you're doing a combination of some customers are coming into the location, some customers are still meeting you online, you still want to be able to keep, obviously, the safety of you and your team. So when you do things, when you collect payments with a digital tool, you're actually minimizing, the contact. You're not having your employees touch people's credit cards. You're not, touching cash that was, moving from hand to hand. This is a good way for you guys to keep yourself and your team safe. And of course, also the health and safety of your customers goes without saying. And then there's also the whole ready to be open angle. So this is something we addressed at the beginning of the webinar. We shared a poll, and I see that actually almost 70% of you guys are already open and accepting some of your customers at your location, but some of you guys are still not able to open at this time. So what you can do during this time, where you're sort of experiencing this downtime, you can actually use this time to invest in infrastructure, in setting up tools that'll put you in a place where you are ready to open. I mean, as soon as the circumstances permit it, you are able to open and you have everything you need to relaunch your business. So either way, this is a good time to set up your online payment tools in case you aren't doing that yet. And at this point, I'm going to hand it over to Sarah that is going to tell us a little bit more about Square as a platform.
Great, thanks so much. So really happy to be here today and tell you a little bit more about Square and why Square is really passionate about working with companies like vcita. So Square has been in the payment space for about 11 years now, and we really got our start working with small business owners such as yourself. And that's really the core at what we're trying to do, is help support businesses in every aspect of your workflows, whether it's taking payments, making sure that you're not having to worry about security. We really want to take those pieces off of your plate so you can focus on the core of your business. Many of you know us from our iconic little white square reader, which I'm sure either you've tried or maybe you've seen in a coffee shop or a local store. But over the years, our offerings and capabilities have expanded to help you run and grow your business. So we've really focused on partnering with the best-in-class companies such as vcita. And today I'll give you a little bit more insight into what Square does on your behalf and some of the benefits of using Square as your processor. So we really aim to make it as easy as possible for you to collect payments. So at the end of the day, you need to support your business, you need to keep the flow of money coming in, and you really don't want it to be a main workflow that takes a lot of time and energy. So what we do for you is we kind of take the guesswork out of it. So we want to make sure that you know exactly how much you're paying for processing, you know when you'll get your money. And so that's a really big concern for a lot of business owners, is how do I get my money and reinvest it back? So today we accept all major credit cards, and we want to ensure that there are multiple options for getting your funds as quickly as possible. So by default, you will always have access to your funds within 2 business days once they've been processed. You can pay an additional fee to have same-day access, or we also have a third option, which is our Square Business Debit Card, which is completely free and allows you to access your funds immediately. We actually created this around the thought that businesses they always tell us we need our funds immediately so we can reinvest it back. So that's kind of what we created as an answer. We really pride ourselves on the simple and fair. So the rates that you see are exactly what you will pay. There's no hidden fees that you'll see in end of month statements. The rate is flat and it does not change aside from unless like what's been posted on the site. We have no long-term contracts. So what this means is that you're never locked into something that's not working for you. We want to ensure that you're using Square because it really works best for you and it's helping increase your business and streamline your workflows. We offer really good security. We know that capturing payments is one part of the piece, but ensuring that you're doing it in the correct way so that your customers feel safe paying online and that you feel safe as a business are top priorities for us. So Square is actually the merchant of record, which means that the moment that any card information is entered in vcita, it's actually never in vcita's ecosystem. It's actually in Square. So we actually encrypt the data once it's entered to ensure that none of this data will ever be in a place where it can be stolen, or we ensure that it's stored in the most secure way. Fraud prevention, last but not least, we have a whole team at Square that's focused on fraud prevention. So what does this mean? We look at different data models to better analyze and identify fraudulent behavior on your account. So that if something were happening, we could flag this to you in a timely manner and hopefully prevent any issues from occurring on your account. And then additionally, we do manage disputes on your behalf. So if you do have a customer that does dispute a charge that's been submitted, we will go through the entire process of managing that dispute on your behalf, and you can keep track of the status within your Square dashboard under your disputes section.
Thank you so much, Sarah.
Yeah, and last but not least, I know this will come up. I just wanted to touch quickly on rates. So with our integration, for the invoices that you send out to your customers, it's a flat rate of 2.9% plus 30. If you key in the card number yourself and charge it within vcita, it's 3.5 plus 15.
Yeah, that was like that was the that was the show me the money moment that a lot of people were waiting for, and then I just went ahead and interrupted you during the money time. So sorry about that, guys.
No worries.
What I was gonna say is that if you're gonna do your payments online, Square is a great partner to have because Square will have your back, as Sarah mentioned, in case of dispute, and they're also a really reliable tool to use. So when you're doing things like asking your customers permission to store your credit cards or asking your customers to go ahead and place a payment online, it's really important to have a partner that you trust. So that is exactly, why vcita chose to integrate with Square as a payment gateway, is because, these guys, they know what they're doing. They're managing many, many businesses, and they've been around for a while. So when you integrate your vcita account with Square, you can rest assured that the data is safe. You have Square's back if if you have any questions about fraud or about safety or storing your data, you can definitely turn to them and get the full picture, so you guys can make an educated decision. So thank you so much for Sarah giving us the introduction to Square. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how you can actually connect your existing vcita account with Square. So once you have the integration, there's a couple of different pieces to keep in mind. Sarah, do you want to tell us a little bit more about what the integration looks like from your end?
Yeah, definitely. So essentially the integration, all integrations that are built are meant to pull data into the place where you run your business. So whether this is pulling data that you have, that previous transactions that you've processed through Square, but essentially you want it all to live under one roof so that you can use that data to more accurately run your business. So with our integration, you can collect payments from anywhere. So this means if you're processing in person with Square hardware, as your businesses reopen and as you're starting to have more in-person interactions, that data with our integration can be synced directly into vcita. And when you're running your transactions online, that data is also running into vcita. So vcita will be your source of truth for looking at and analyzing all of your payments across your work streams. And the reason this is important is the more data you have in one place, the more insights you can find and better manage your business and understand whether it's insights about your top customers, whether it's seeing your busy months. Just being able to see it in one place is really important. You can also import any previous clients from Square. So once you've gone through the sign-up flow that Rachel will walk us through just after this, you'll see that how easy it is to connect your two accounts. And once you have the integration connected, it will keep everything in sync. So it will make sure that anything that's happening in Square under the location that you've connected to your vcita account is streaming back to vcita so that everything remains in one place. And while our integration today is specifically for online invoicing, anything that you process with Square hardware will also be synced through. So while we don't have the in-person piece completed quite yet, we're still allowing you to pull it all into one place like would be in the future. And something to note here too, as you're thinking about reopening, a topic that we've heard from a lot of our sellers and we're really focused on is contactless payments. And so for hardware, we do have hardware such as our chip and pin reader, our terminal that allows for Apple Pay and Google Pay transactions. So we're hearing a lot more about how can we do tap to pay. And so just good things to keep in mind as you're figuring out like what is your best setup for the future. And now I'll hand it over to Rachel and she'll walk you through what this looks like.
Yeah, so we're going to take a look at the integration process. And I think something that's really important to keep in mind is that when we were designing this integration, the bottom line for us was we don't want our users to have the experience where, you're logging payments into one platform and then you have to go and relog them into the other platform. And you're kind of working with these two interfaces. And as Sarah mentioned, you're not really sure, which one of them is the source of truth here. So the bottom line is once you have activated this integration, there will be no need to kind of, look at Square at the end of the month, look at vcita, try and understand, try to sort of cross-reference the payments, because whatever is in Square will be in vcita and vice versa. So that goes for all of your payment information, all your payments that are recorded, as well as customers. So if you use vcita as your CRM system, and then you have some customers, that you've created in Square on the past and might have possibly don't have them created in vcita under your CRM just yet. Once you connect your accounts, all that data will be transferred into vcita as well. So existing customers that you have in Square will be imported into your CRM. So you'll be able to see them under your client list in vcita. So let's take a look at the integration process now. So this is just like a step-by-step guide of how to connect your account. Just again, in case you missed it, this session is recorded and we will be sending all of you guys the recording, so you don't have to follow these steps now. When you're ready to do the integration, just pull out the recording and you can follow them step by step. So you're gonna go to your setting page on the main menu and click on payments. Once you do that, you're going to end up on this page. Some of the items on these screens are enlarged just for the presentation, so don't be alarmed if they look a little bit different on your computer. You're going to choose Square as your payment gateway and click on the blue Connect button. And then you're going to get this dialog. So this is where you either put in your Square login information, so your email and password. If you don't have a Square account just yet, you can use the link to create one and then connect your brand new account. Once you've done that, you'll get this screen where this is basically just asking you to allow access to all these different types of data. So you're going to click on allow. Then you're going to get this screen where we're going to be asking you about the sync. So these two checkboxes are going to be checked by default. I recommend leaving them as is, but you can take an extra look and decide, how you want to go with this. So the Square Reader Sync is, I want my Square Reader transactions updated in vcita from now on. So that's everything moving forward. From this day and on, every transaction made will be logged in vcita. That's why I do recommend leaving that checkbox checked. And then the second one is to import like the history. So that's the data you already have in your account. So I highly recommend leaving that checkbox in place as well, because that's what's going to bring all your existing data from Square into vcita, assuming you already have a Square account. So once you click on the Let's Go button, you're going to get this. This is your success message. So you can take a minute to read it and just get a better idea about, what the benefits of the integration are. Once you're done, you can look at this is your payment received page. So if you go to payments on your vcita menu and then payments received, this is going to show you, some of you actually may be familiar with this screen. This is a list of all the payments you recorded through vcita. And if you look at the top three, you'll see that there is a line just underneath the customer's name that says payment for your service, and then in brackets it says via Square. So that's going to be your indicator. That's how you know that the payment you're looking at on the list view was actually collected via Square. And then if you click on one of these payments, you're going to get the payment view. Once again, some of the elements on my screen are just enlarged for the presentation. And then what you'll see here is that, first of all, under details, under the payment details, you'll have the Square transaction ID. So if you do need to do some cross-referencing and just try and locate, if you have a payment in Square and you're trying to locate it in vcita, this is what you're going to look for. This is the ID number for this. This is a unique code for each payment. And then you can see under items that the payment is indeed collected via Square. So these are two screens you're going to start seeing in your account once you activate the integration. So I am now excited to introduce you to Bonnie. Bonnie is a longtime vcita user, and she's been using the Square and vcita integration for a while. Hello, Bonnie.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Bonnie, we are super, super excited to have you here. Bonnie's company works with individuals that are seeking career advancement by providing career coaching and resume and LinkedIn profile writing services, which is extremely, extremely important. When she's not serving her clients, Bonnie enjoys meditation practice, which is fun, and quality time with her husband, 3 children, and no less than 5 dogs, ladies and gentlemen. Bonnie just had her 3rd baby in January. Congrats, Bonnie.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And another just small tidbit I know about Bonnie is that her and her family absolutely love to travel, and they are really looking forward to do that again. So aren't we all? I mean, yeah, travel is, yeah, 2020 has not been the best year for travel so far. Hopefully that's
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah. I feel great though. We will get back there. So it's awesome.
Absolutely. So Bonnie, thank you so much for joining us today. Tell us a little bit more about what it is that you do.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here. My name is Bonnie Negron. I'm the CEO of Bonnie Career Services. I work with individuals, as Rachel mentioned, just bringing them to the next level in their careers. I'm a career coach. After 20 years of corporate America leadership roles in New York City, I quit my job on Wall Street to start my own company. And so that's how Bonnie Career Services was born back in 2017. I work with individuals all over the world through help them with their interviews, getting their resumes prepped, their LinkedIn profiles prepped, anything that they need in order to develop their career marketing tools to get them to that next level in their career. Okay. All right.
So that's great. It sounds, first of all, that's a really interesting business. I think nowadays, more and more people are really, in need for some coaching and guidance. I think a lot of people, sort of just turn to the internet to look for, what kind of tips they can get to advance in their workplace. And I think having someone like you, someone that really has this knowledge and has actually been on the other side, you've played the corporate game. You've seen what the system looks like for the inside. And you're now able to sort of bring this knowledge to people that are looking to take the next move in the career. So that's great. It's a really interesting business. And I'm sure, I think a lot of coaches and consultants work with vcita, as in use vcita as their business management platform. So I'm sure your use cases are actually super relevant to a lot of the folks online with us. So tell us a little bit more about how you use vcita and Square to sort of manage your payments online.
Well, just like working with my clients, everything is online. So even the job search process is online, everything's there. So I did a lot of research before even finding vcita because I really wanted that one tool that would allow me to book appointments, invoice clients, have my client database, and rather than having multiple tools, because there's just so much things that are out there. So I did come across vcita and I looked at the presentations and I'm like, wow, this really seems too good to be true. It has everything in it that I'm looking for to get started. But it's been great. I mean, I've been with you for since 2018, and it just does everything for me. It really allows me to manage my payments online. I'm able to book coaching sessions with my clients, invoice them, send them estimates. I have it connected with my website. So if people need to upload documents to me, their resumes, they could do it on there. Now we're using Zoom. So it's awesome because now it integrates with Zoom. So all my clients can book a session with me and they automatically get the Zoom link. So vcita has been wonderful and just continuously evolving the platform, and I really appreciate that. So it's made my business handling it so much easier where I can focus on my clients and I don't have to worry so much about the administrative tasks that come along with running a business.
First of all, thank you so much for the feedback. We're all, blushing back here. So that's, first of all, it's really great to hear that vcita is supporting your business that way. And it's true that we do try to create a comprehensive offer. So, and that's part of the reason why we actually, created this integration with Square, because we don't want you guys, using the one platform to do your CRM and then the other platform to manage payments and then another platform to do your marketing. The whole idea is to kind of take everything tied together onto one platform where you can kind of get all your needs. It's like your modern day one-stop shop, I guess, for businesses.
Yeah, absolutely.
And by the way, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and I was going to say, I mean, just using the Square integration, it just makes it a lot easier for not only myself, but for my team to help manage client payments. Now there's like a quick charge button on there that once we house the client's credit card information, it's safe and secure. So sometimes they're not comfortable making a payment online. They do want to give payment over the phone. So it gives us the confidence that we need to be able to take that client's payment. And then even if I'm not available and one of my team members can take that payment, all they have to do is log into vcita, click the charge button and get the client what they need in order to, you know, have them going through the process a lot quicker. And then they get a receipt right away. So it's great. All my payments, if they're in by 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because I'm on the East Coast, I'm in New Jersey, I have them in my bank account, all the payments the next day. So I couldn't ask for a more smoother payment process. It's really great.
Thank you so much for your feedback, Bonnie. And I think that that's actually a really important point, that whole flexibility and being able to do both online, have people kind of take the self-service route where they can pay themselves, you know, using their credit card online, or give you the credit card over the phone, which is definitely an option you can do with the vcita+Square integration. And don't worry, guys, we're going to get to all that soon. But just before Bonnie signs off, she has an extra special surprise prepared for you guys. So Bonnie, tell us about the special offer, which is an exclusive offer, by the way, for the folks that are on this webinar right now. And it's also, yeah, it's super exciting. So I'm just going to let Bonnie tell you guys about it.
Yes, awesome. So I have my NCOPE certification, and what NCOPE means is that I'm a nationally certified online profile expert specifically for LinkedIn profile developments. So currently there are only 128 writers and coaches in the United States that have the certification, and I'm one of them. So I've gone through rigorous training to understand how to really get your LinkedIn profile up to speed. So it works both for those job seekers who are looking to get their profile optimized, and for business owners who are looking to attract clients. So I work with both of those type of clients in order to get their LinkedIn profiles up to date. So what we're giving away, which is a $100 value product today, is a LinkedIn scorecard. You would be able to grade your LinkedIn profile to see how effective it is for what you're trying to get accomplished on LinkedIn. And then based on whatever your score is, you're going to get some tips on how you can optimize your LinkedIn profile to get it working best for you.
So that's awesome. Thank you very much, Bonnie. We're going to be sending you guys a link via email either later today or first thing tomorrow. You'll get a link to your inbox that you can use to claim this awesome offer. Thank you so much for this one, Bonnie. And I just want to kind of, you know, back you up here and say that LinkedIn is actually a really, really great source for business. You know, a lot of people think of Facebook because we're so used to doing like Facebook and Instagram, you know, in our personal lives. So when it comes to managing your business's online presence, I think that's kind of like the go-to place for many business owners. They think like, okay, how am I going to do online presence? I'm going to do Facebook and Instagram. While LinkedIn is actually a really great environment for business, because think about it, it is purely business. When you log in to LinkedIn and you're looking at your feed, you're not looking at, you know, cute pictures of cats or, you know, or children or any personal life event. You're looking at an environment that is purely business. You know, these are all people that are looking to network and connect with each other and do business together. So LinkedIn is a really great place to be. And it's not necessarily about looking for jobs. You know, I know some business owners think, you know, LinkedIn, it's more about, you know, if you have a corporate job and you're like looking maybe, you know, to be poached. But when it comes to when you run your small business, you know, LinkedIn is definitely something other, you know, potential customers could be looking at, or other business owners that you could partner with or create joint ventures with. So it's definitely worth investing in having some solid LinkedIn presence. So thank you again, Bonnie, for being here with us today and sharing, you know, your insights and giving us this awesome offer. Guys, as promised, the link will be sent to you either later today or first thing tomorrow. So keep an eye out in your inbox. Thanks again, Bonnie. And we're going to continue now. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So a really important point that Bonnie brought up before was the flexibility, because when you're collecting payments online, you're going to meet, you know, let's face it, you know, people are complicated, and you're going to get a whole like wide range of reactions. You know, some people are going to be like, great, sweet, you know, you offer online payments, that's awesome. I don't have to send you a check. I don't have to come over with cash. I'm just going to pay online. That's great. Some people might, you know, be a little bit more hesitant. They might say, you know, oh, you know, I'm not really sure about it. I might, you know, not really trust my internet provider. You know, people don't, online payments can, you know, we're not always sure we understand how it happens. Some of it is sort of going through a black box. So some people maybe feel more comfortable giving their credit card information over the phone, which is absolutely fine. And we'll definitely walk you through that in just a couple of minutes. And then when it comes to collecting payment online for those customers that are happy and, you know, excited to put their credit card information online because it saves them the trip or the check in the mail or whatever, there are two options there too. So what we see a lot of our customers do is a lot of businesses will actually charge for the service while it's being booked. So if you're using vcita for online scheduling, while the customer is making the booking and ordering your service, you can actually ask them to go ahead and place the payment while they're booking the appointment. So you can either ask them, you can suggest it, so you can say something, you can, it's all part of the setup, so you can either arrange for, you know, the flow to only work if the customer goes ahead and pays as part of the booking process, or you can just suggest it and say, you know, by the way, this is, you know, you can pay now as part of this booking flow, but you can also skip it and then pay me later. So that's the one flow. And then the other flow is if you don't want to collect payments up front, you can also collect them after the appointment. So what you're going to do is generate an invoice against the appointment that you had with the customer, and then the customer can use that invoice. It's going to be sent to their email. We're going to see all this in a couple of minutes. It'll be sent to their email. They can click on the link, and then that'll take them to a place where they can pay online. So again, you know, you don't have to necessarily choose one of these flows. You can leave all your options open. So you can enable some customers to pay online while booking. You can allow them to pay after the booking has been completed, or you can just have them on the phone and charge them manually by getting their credit card. So let's take a look at those three flows. The first demo I have prepared for today is what it looks like when you're collecting payments upfront. So what you're gonna do is go into your vcita account. This is the client portal. So this is where your customer comes to. They're gonna, you know, click on the link you sent them, your online scheduling link, choose the service that they're interested in. This is our new scheduler, by the way, brand new design. The customer is gonna, you know, set up when they want to have their booking, just like they always do. And then on the next screen, they're gonna have to fill out some information. So we're just gonna fill it out real quick. By the way, I actually had to book this wine tasting session for the demo, and I actually have it in my calendar, and I keep on getting these emails like, don't forget about your wine tasting. And it just makes me really sad because there is no wine tasting. It's not happening. It's just for demo purposes, obviously. This is also a cool feature. So here is like, what type of wine are you interested in? This is a customizable field. You can, you know, obviously customize it according to your business. You can add a little checkbox. You can even add like a health declaration if you need to. That's like a good thing to do nowadays. And once the customer has completed the form, they're gonna go ahead and proceed to payment. And then this is the screen it brings them to. So they're already in this like buying mindset. They've gone ahead, they're booking a service with you, and then as part of that flow, they can already go ahead and place the payment. So that's kind of like a really easy breezy way to go with things, because, you know, you kind of take this whole, you know, payment chasing element out of it's just not part of the equation. You know, payments are collected while booking. Again, it depends a lot on what kind of business it is that you run and what kind of relationship you have with your customers. But this is definitely something worth considering, and it's also worth considering if you don't want to make it compulsory. You can also just offer it, and that's all part of your payment settings, which can be customized in your account. I also want to show you the other flow that I mentioned before, which is what it looks like when you send an invoice that is payable online. So here you're going to go to your vcita account. You're going to head over to the payments area, and then you're going to create new invoice. You're going to select the customer you want to send the invoice to, and then this is where you're going to customize the invoice. So there's different fields here. You can go ahead and change the due date, which is important. So that can be, you can also change the issue date if you're issuing a invoice, if you want to backdate it. Here you'll choose the service that you're billing for. You can add it like this, and then there's the terms and notes. So this is just if you wanted to add any kind of, you know, terms and conditions or any kind of side note that would be added to the invoice. You want to allow payments online, and the question is if you wanted to allow partial payments. This is what the invoice looks like. I'm sorry, I clicked on the send button before, it somehow jumped. And then this is what the invoice looks like when it comes to your customer's inbox. So you'll see it's totally branded. It has your business's logo, it has your business's colors. When the customer clicks on it, it'll take them to this screen. So this is where they can, you know, go ahead and proceed to placing the payment online. So this is what it would look like if you would be, obviously sending these invoices out, not as part of the booking flow, but as you can see, it's still super seamless, super easy. I think part of the idea here is that it's made very easy for the customer. So it's basically, you just drop them a link. They don't have to start, looking for your website or finding the right place to place a payment on your website. It's super easy. You send them the link. It takes them directly to the invoice, which is already stated, what the amount is, what the service is. So it just makes it, really seamless and easy for both you and your customer. So the third demo I want to show you now is what this is the flow that Bonnie mentioned when she said that some of her customers prefer paying over the phone, which is completely understandable. So this is what it looks like when if you're on the phone, say with a customer and they say, okay, I'm ready to pay, I'm ready to give you my credit card information. So what you're going to do is you're going to head over to your client list, to your CRM, and you are going to select the customer that you want to bill. We're going to select me in this case, because I'm paying for my non-existing wine tasting. And then I'm going to click on new, and I'm going to click on the charge button over here. And then here I have a field where I can choose the service that I'm billing the customer for. And then the amount, obviously, and there's a place here to insert the credit card number. And then there's also an option to save these credit cards on file if you needed to go ahead and charge them in the future. So if your customers are cool with that, that's definitely something that can speed up the process in the future, so you don't have to continue, like re-entering these credit cards over and over again. So yeah, this is all enabled. This is all possible to do. You can do all these 3 different flows that I just showed you within your vcita account, and the payment processor would be Square. So once you've set up your Square integration and set Square as your default payment processor, these 3 flows will be available for you. And again, you can do them all through vcita. And I'm just gonna say again, and I know I've been repeating this like a million times, but I just know that this might seem like a little bit fast. So don't worry, this session is recorded. And if you need, you can feel free to we're gonna send you a link to the recording by email, and you can just fast forward to the part where we walk through the steps and just watch it again, as you're setting it up. Sometimes it takes like a couple of times to do it till you kind of get the hang of it. And then, once you've done it once or twice, you're usually good to go. And of course, if you have any question, as you know, we have an extremely dedicated support team that stand ready and are happy to answer any question you may have about collecting payments online, while booking, after booking, doing it manually. So feel free to reach out to them if you need some extra hand holding, or if you have a question, or if you're not quite sure about anything, they'll be more than happy to help you guys through it. And then we're also going to take some questions. We're just going to wrap up the presentation in a couple of minutes and take some questions. So you can also post them here if you're watching this on Zoom, you can post them in the Q&A area. If you're watching this on Facebook Live, you can leave a comment to the post, and we will hopefully get to as many questions as possible at the end of the session. And if those questions are not answered during the session, we will follow up with you offline. So now I'm gonna hand it over to Sarah. She's gonna tell us about a super cool limited time offer for you guys who are using the vcita and Square integration.
Great, thanks so much. Yeah, so as Rachel said, we have a great offer for you just to lower the barrier of entry, just to get up and running. So for a limited time, for both new and existing Square users who sign up through a link that will be shared both in the chat and also in the follow-up email, we will waive the processing fees on the first $5,000 processed, or the next $5,000 if you're already an existing user. So we're really excited to offer this to you. And just to note, for anybody who is creating a brand new Square account, you can also get a free Square Reader for every new account. So if you need that and you want to also think about in-person processing for the future, make sure to take advantage of that as well.
Great. So thank you so much. This is a really great offer. And as Sarah mentioned, if you are considering doing, the online payments thing and you want to go ahead and set that up, this is something you should take advantage of. As Sarah mentioned, it is a limited time offer, and we're going to be placing a link that you can use in the comments right now. The links are, it depends on where in the world you're from. So just make sure you're using the link that is right for your country of origin. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, Square is supported only in the countries that you'll be seeing in the chat area right now. And if you live in a different country, you cannot use Square, unfortunately, but you can still use vcita to process your payments. You can, maybe the best course of action is just to reach out to our support team, get the information you need about using a payment gateway that is available in your country. So thanks again, Sarah. Just again, the link is going to be placed in the chat area, and we will also make sure to send it to you via email so you won't miss out on this awesome limited time offer. So it's time to address your questions. Online with us is Kieran from the awesome vcita support team, and she's going to help us answer the questions that you guys sent over today.
Hey guys, it's Karen. Awesome webinar. This has been super helpful. We have a couple of questions. This one's from Sarah. She'd like to know what is, or if there is, a single charge limit or a daily limit of transactions if she's using Square as her gateway.
Hi, Sarah. We actually don't have a limit for that. I believe I've looked into this before, and the limit is something astoundingly massive. So you will not run into any limits with processing through the integration.
Astoundingly massive. I do like that. Okay. Great. This next question comes from Helen. She says, I take debit payments with Square, so debit cards. Are debit cards accommodated through the online flow with this integration?
Yes, debit and credit are accepted through this flow. It will be processed as a credit card would, but yes, they're accepted for the integration.
All right, thanks for that. Okay, here's a question for the vcita side. Melissa is interested in selling tickets to events. For that, she would need recurring payments. What is vcita doing about recurring payments?
Great question. Kieran, do you want to answer this one, or do you want me to take it?
I would love to hear your answer, unless.
Okay, so recurring payments is a great question. This is something we get very often. So here's the thing: when you set up your vcita account, you're setting up your service menu. So you're creating these one-time booking events, and you're allowing people to place a payment, make a booking with make a booking once for a one-time event, and then pay for that once. So Kieran, do you want to explain the flow of what happens when you want it to when you wanted either a booking or a payment to happen more than one time?
Okay, so you can set up recurring appointments. There's a flow that I think is best addressed to the support team because it's kind of lengthy and I don't want to completely derail our webinar, but I do want to get you guys excited because recurring payments, I believe, is in our pipeline. We have a lot of exciting developments coming up. So do keep an eye out, pay attention to Facebook. We're really active on there. Okay.
Yeah, so with Facebook, this is actually a good segue I can use. We have a user community on Facebook. It used to be called New vcita Features. It has since been renamed and reborn and is now called VHub, the vcita user community. And Kieran is our rock star there, and she answers. The reason I handed it over because she's the one that usually answers people in the group when they're asking, about, this feature or that feature. And as Kieran mentioned, it is part of our roadmap. There is a whole lot of both, recurring payments and packaging, kind of like a booking, being able to sell packages with vcita. This is something we've been asked about quite a lot. And as Kieran mentioned, it is coming up real soon. The team is working on a really awesome set of features that are going to address this need. The reason it's taking a little bit of time is because we want it to be, like all the features we upload, we want it to be really seamless and be designed exactly for the use case that we've been seeing that our users are describing. So once that feature does go live, we will definitely have another session like this, or maybe it'll just be a Facebook Live where we walk you guys through the new feature and the new flow. We actually had one of them last week. It was super awesome when we launched the new design for our scheduler. So we'll definitely be having another session like that to talk about the whole recurring payments and packages use case with the new feature, obviously.
Thanks for that, Rachel. I threw a link to our Facebook group in the chat if you guys are interested. Okay. How about another question? Are you good on time?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, great. So this next question is for Square again. Do customers need to open a Square account in order to make payments?
So I just want to clarify, I think the question here is not if you as the business owner needs to open an account, right? If your customer needs to open an account in order to pay you. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your customers do not need to create a Square account. So this would function as any checkout flow that you've gone through online, where you'll view, essentially, if you decide to send an invoice to your customer would receive the invoice to their inbox. They would open it, they would click make a payment, and then the payment page would pop up where they could enter their details, and then that would be submitted. So no need for the customer to create any additional accounts.
That's excellent. Super useful. Okay. Here's another one. How do refunds work with the Square vcita integration?
So I can take this. So within vcita, every time that a payment is made, within vcita itself, you can view the refund, or you can view the transaction link that can take you to Square's dashboard. So you can actually initiate the refund from Square itself. And the connection between the two just allows you not to have to figure out like which transaction matches up with the vcita transaction. So what you would do is go into vcita, look at your transactions. There's a link, you can click on that, and then you'd be able to refund by clicking a refund button within Square.
Cool, thanks so much, Sarah. Okay, that appears to be all the questions we have today.
All right, so that's great. And then once again, if you guys, this is actually something that happened to me. Bonnie, this is a story for you. This happened to me at an interview where I went, this is like quite a few years back. I went to interview for this company, and then they asked me, it was like whatever, they had this whole interview and it ended, and I took the elevator downstairs, and downstairs was another person from this company's recruiting team and said, now it's time for the elevator question. So what is the elevator question? The elevator question was basically an opportunity for me to go down, use the elevator, and in the elevator, think about a question I meant to ask about the company or the position I was interviewing for, and then ask the person just before I left the building. So if you have any of these elevator questions that suddenly come to mind after the webinar is over, we are obviously more than happy to address them. You guys should reach out to our support team, whether you have a question or need some extra guidance. If you, want a little bit of more information about anything we discussed today, whether it's setting up your service menu or your online scheduling flow that we looked at before, if it's about doing the recurring meetings that Kieran was talking about before, or if it's about setting up your charging flow when customers book or after customers book, basically anything at all, feel absolutely free to reach out to our dedicated support team. They're more than happy to provide the additional information. Once again, I would like to thank our guests for today. Thank you, Sarah, Bonnie, and Kieran, for taking the time and joining us. This has been an awesome presentation. And thank you guys so much for joining us today. We really hope we were able to give you some insights and give you a good idea of what online payments means and how it could be beneficial for your business. We hope you understand how you can use the vcita and Square integration. And then once again, if you're not 100% sure, feel absolutely free to ask. And that's it. We look forward to seeing you in our future webinars. There are lots of them coming, so definitely stay tuned. Just before you guys sign off, I did want to launch one more poll where I can ask you about how you thought today's webinar was. Your feedback goes a really long way because it helps us shape future content and workshops and webinars like this one, and kind of helps us understand how we're doing, if you guys find this stuff insightful, if we should be doing things a little bit differently. So I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll right now. So my question is, how was the webinar today? Did you find that it was great? You can't wait to get started with your online payments, yay! Or maybe you learned a lot but still have some questions, which is absolutely fine. As I mentioned, we are definitely here to answer them. Maybe you thought it was informative, but you perhaps expected more, and maybe you were actually an online payment pro and didn't really learn anything new. So all answers are good. The feedback just helps us improve and get better and pinpoint our presentations to use cases that are super relevant and super informative. So thanks again for joining us today. Thank you for your feedback, and we'll see you next time. Take care and stay safe. Hopefully we'll all be hearing some good news soon. Bye-bye. Thanks again.